I think we all knew, didn't we, as soon as it was announced that Nigel Farage had a emergency general election announcement for us at 4 o'clock, that he was coming back. There was no doubt in my mind anyway. And it happened. Richard Tice has stood down. I think it's only right though, because that guy just did cock up after cock up after cock up. He said and did the wrong things. And the guy was a vote loser. He really was. It got to the point that even I refused to vote for reform if Richard Tice was still leading. That's where the problems are, right there. He hailed Zelensky as a hero. He was part of that convoy that drove to the Ukraine to deliver medical supplies to the Ukrainian army. He was an advocate of the jab. And there were just other little things which rang alarm bells for me. But I think this really is a good decision. Reform have read the room, they have read the mood of the nation, and this is what people want. They wanted Nigel Farage back, a guy with far more charisma and more pulling power than Richard Tice ever could. Now, whose decision it is, we don't know. They were both a bit cagey during the press conference as to who made that decision for this to happen. But personally, I think Richard Tice didn't have a choice at all. And for Reform to make any headway, make any slight dent in this year's election, it had to be Nigel Farage at the helm, and he's also standing as an MP in Clacton. Now, I know he has stood a few times before and lost every time, but I think this time he really has a chance. I think recently there has been a shift in the mood of the people in this country, especially after Tommy Robinson's march on Saturday in London, which I was a part of. And talking to the people there, I get a sense that people have had enough. But there are still problems with Reform. They're still demonising Tommy Robinson. They've all blocked him on social media. And the guy is the man of the moment. If there's anyone who could bring more people over to vote for them, it's him, I think. But there's also their absence at the march as well. In fact, they haven't even addressed it. But regardless, I think this is a good move by Reform. It needed to be done. If there's anyone who could bring in the Conservative votes, and even some Labour votes, I dare say, then that man could only be Nigel Farage, couldn't it? But there's one thing I think Nigel Farage could do, which could seal votes from people like myself. And to quote YouTuber No Chance, who wrote on Twitter, Nigel Farage should bring back the anti-immigration candidates that Richard Tice sacked because far-left pressure group Hope Not Hate told him to. You can't be tough on immigration by gutting the party of anti-immigration candidates, unquote. And he's absolutely right there, No Chance. Spot on. But will he do it? I don't know. So there we go. That's what I think. Nigel's back. But whether it was because he wanted to or because he realised he misread the mood of the nation when he announced he wasn't standing and going to the US instead, who knows? But I think it's a step in the right direction. And there we go. I'm Paz49. Thanks for listening. And until the next time, Roger Trout.